Well, hello, everybody. Happy July. Today is July 10th, 2025. Never before has there ever been, nor will there ever be, a day quite like this one. And Julia and I are so delighted that you've joined us here at the Baldwinsville Public Library, New York, YouTube channel or Facebook or Zoom meeting to take part in our virtual card making class that we hold each month. And if you picked up a goodie bag from the library this month, you'll have supplies for 3 cards. Two of them come in envelopes that are printed. One has either a rainbow or balloons on it. And then the other one's a little bit smaller envelope that has this beautiful sunshine pattern on the inside. We're going to begin with those cards, and then we'll finish with my favorite card tonight. This is called a boxy pop-up fun fold card. And I love the easy, simple paper engineering, and I hope you'll enjoy making this along with me too. So we'll save that one best for last. And let's begin with the one that's in the larger envelope. And again, it's either going to have balloons on the outside or a rainbow on the outside. So you can dig in your goodie bag and see which one you have. They both have some really fun UV printed design on them, which makes that nice shine. And the surprise is that on the inside, they have a honeycomb. So it's a really cool 3D pop-up card. Let's start with the rainbow one. So you might not have the rainbow one. You might have the balloon one, and we'll do that one next. But this is from a kit that had a few different varieties. And one of the things I love about this one is that it's printed on both sides, the front and the back. So it makes this really full rainbow on the one side. And then we'll be placing that sunshine honeycomb on the inside. So the honeycomb actually has adhesive already on it. We're just going to remove the layers of wax liner. I'll remove one at a time, and I'm going to put that down in the center of the card, just next to that center score line here. Okay, because the honeycomb has a little bit of thickness to it, so you've got to give a little bit of room next to that crease. Then we're going to peel off the other liner and simply close the card. And now when we smooth that adhesive, we're going to open it and it will be a pop-up sunshine. I love how honeycombs like this also make a really happy sound too. It's just a little bit of a crunch sound there. Now on the outside of the card, we can decorate it with some clouds that are printed. This says, "Congrats, and you did it." So what a happy card for a summertime. Maybe it's the teacher that made it through the end of the school year, a student that's graduated, somebody that's met a special goal at work or at home that they've been working toward. And to put our layers together, we're going to use some dimensionals. Now, there weren't dimensionals in your kit this time, so you can dig out from your goodie bags from the past, or you can use another adhesive of your choice to use. I love the dimensionals because they do add that pop and height to your card, but you could also apply this with any other adhesives that you have. I'll go ahead and put a few more on this large cloud that says "Congrats." And I love that it's got some subtle sponging already done on here for you. It's very subtle, but there's just a little bit of blue shading along here. I'll show you how to do that on our sailboat card tonight. And then you did it. So I'm going to put a few more dimensionals here. This is a really quick assembly card. And the fun pop and shine of the rainbow and the sunbeams makes this card a really special one, again, with that surprise inside of the sunshine. So that one has a envelope that's printed on the inside and the outside, and that's ready to mail. This would not need extra postage, even though it does have a little bit of cushion to it, because nothing is hard, like there isn't a button or a bead or a brad here. So this would be okay just with a regular first class postage. Postage is going up this week, and so you want to go to the post office tomorrow, Friday or Saturday, to grab some of our first class postage stamps so that you can continue to send happy mail. Next, if you didn't have the rainbow one, then you have this fun balloon card. And you'll see again, it's got some of that UV printing on it, so it's shiny and reflective. And we have a little string, we'll tie a bow. We have a Oh Happy Day balloon, and then we've got our honeycomb balloon for the inside. So let's do that step. We're going to peel off the paper, just the wax liner, exposing the adhesive here. I'm going to place it. Do you see where this little bow is, like the ribbon? We want it to be just above that and just off to the center so that it can close. It's got a little bit of room to take in the thickness of the balloon. We'll remove that and fold it over. Now, when we open, we have a surprise pool party balloon inside. We can add our Happy Day balloon with some dimensionals, or again, you can use whatever adhesive you have handy. Remove those. I'm going to place it in the center, pretty much in the center of my card. It's a little bit over to the right. And I'm going to tie a bow. Now, I don't have the fork bow ready to teach you tonight, but I'll remind you of how to do the bunny ear bow. What we're going to do is make 2 loops side by side. See if my fingers can be out of the way so you can see. We're going to take 1 loop over the other and pull it through. And that's going to make a nice even bow. We can just wiggle those ears from the bunny and we'll trim off. If you have scissors, you can trim off any extra. I'm going to use just a little bit of my favorite adhesive, which is the Tombow multi-purpose glue, to just put a small dot on this green balloon. And then the center of my knotted bow, I can place right onto that little dot of glue. It's going to take a moment for it to dry, so you want to set it aside so it can have a chance to dry before it gets pulled away. We don't want that balloon to blow away. But then here you've got your envelope that coordinates, and both of these cards I just think are full of sunshine to share with someone special this month as a happy summer card. Next, let's complete our card that's part of the Share a Smile kit. So there are 8 varieties of this card, 8 different versions. You'll have one in your kit. And what I've done is take the instruction sheet and include that right in your card kit. So I have the one that's the sloth. There's a sunflower, a cactus, a bicycle, some peaches, a toucan, a sunshine, and some hibiscus flowers. But you'll be able to find the little assembly sheet inside your kit envelope. Now, this kit has 2 different kinds of adhesives. One is the tear and tape adhesive, which is just a double-sided tape. And then the other is the dimensionals. So if you don't have those kinds of adhesives at home, that's fine. You can simply layer with whatever adhesives you have, but you're going to build the card like a collage. So some of you have a sloth card, but others of you have the different varieties. So you'll want to pull out the instructions, and just from left to right, you're going to see how to build your card. So for my sloth example, I'm going to start with the leaves and place those on the card base, and then I'm going to layer my other pieces. And that just creates kind of a collage look for this card. The card is already scored, so you're going to fold and burnish the edge. And then we're ready to put our leaves in place. Now I'm going to use the tear and tape just to show you how easy that is as an adhesive. You just can, like its name, you can tear it. You don't need scissors to cut it. We're going to just put a little strips on the back of the leaves. And then I'll pull off those liners. We'll be using tear and tape on our sailboat card today. I've already positioned the tape for you, so you'll get a chance to try that. And I'm going to layer the leaves. These are Monstera leaves. And when I went to visit my friend Cindy in Hawaii, we stood by massive leaves, Monstera leaves, and have some pictures of me kind of inside this big jungle of big, beautiful leaves. So they always make me think of Hawaii. Then I have my sloth, and you'll see that your piece might have a little bit of paper to pull away, maybe inside your flower or by the toucan or the cactus. And so you can just remove any little extra pieces, then you can peek right through there. And this we're going to add with some dimensionals. As you know, I love using the Stampin' Dimensionals because they really have a handmade look, a real pop. And I'm just going to position a few of those and then put this fun sloth right here. Some of you may have been to the Rosamond Gifford Zoo in Syracuse. I love going to the zoo. I'm a member at the zoo, and there are sloths there. And if you're lucky, they'll be kind of awake. They're still really relaxed and slow moving, but it's fun to see them moving or eating. The zoo staff has great enrichment at the exhibits, and so you'll see different. Sometimes there's like ice cube trays with little food in it, or some kinds of containers that they have to manipulate in order to open, and it's fun to see them do that. Not just the sloths, but all of the different animals there. So if you're a fan of the Rosamond Gifford Zoo here in Syracuse, you can let me know. I'm a member and I love to go there, so I could meet you there and we could go for a walk. It's a really nice loop that you can walk and see my favorite red pandas and snow leopards. They're over sort of halfway around the loop. And then, of course, the twin elephants, which gave a lot of press and attention to our zoo. Twins elephants are very rare, and our zoo didn't even know they were going to have two babies until the first one came out, and then there was still another baby. So pretty remarkable. These little hearts, they look a little bit like stickers, but they don't have adhesive. So I'm going to just add with my glue those shiny little hearts in place. Some of your cards, instead of hearts, they have little flowers. So I'm going to try to hold up the screen here. You can see on the peaches, there are tiny little flowers. So when you're putting your card together, just take out that instruction sheet and you'll see a way that's suggested to assemble your pieces. But as you know, you are the designer here. You can use the pieces that are included in your kit and put them together any way you like. And one of the things I enjoy most is hearing from you about how you've combined something from February 2022 with something from July 2025. We do have some of the kits from past months available at the library. When you stop in, you can ask Julia or the front desk folks about that. And then generally every month you can pick up your kit about a week before, like within the week before the class. I have them there for you to pick up. Now we're going to finish our class tonight with my favorite card, which is this fun paper engineering card. And this one features a stamp set and suite called Sunrise Sailing. I love to sail. With a name like Shipman, you know that I love all things nautical. And I grew up here in the Finger Lakes on Cuca Lake and used to go out in the sunfish. And then I also learned to sail when I was a nanny in New Hampshire and helped others learn to sail. So this is a really fun suite to work with. There is the stamp set, then there are the dies that we use to cut out different elements like the clouds and the boats. And then what's especially cool is this 3D hybrid embossing folder. And if you take out your envelope, all the supplies here, you'll find a small piece, a rectangle of blue paper. And this has some raised elements to it. It's been embossed. And so to do that, you put the paper, I already did this for you, but I'll just demonstrate. The paper goes inside the folder. And then when it goes through the embossing machine, the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, the pressure pushes the paper into that shape. And this is called a hybrid folder because it can do one extra step. It can actually cut out the shape of the boat as well as emboss. So it can do some really cool things. And I've really had fun playing with it. And tonight I'll show you how I sanded the paper to expose this white core. This is called two-tone cardstock. It's a newer product from Stampin' Up! And it's called two-tone because it has two shades of the same color. So this is called Cloud Cover. It's quite a light blue anyway. On the other side, it's even a little bit lighter. You can see the contrast here. So it's called two-tone cardstock, and it has a white core. All of our other cardstock is dyed all the way through. So if you sand it, it does not expose a different color. It's a cool effect, but it doesn't expose the white, whereas this one exposes white. So if you have a nail file or an emery board or some kind of sandpaper, you'll just gently rub across the top. And sorry if it makes my table shake a little bit. Let me bring this in to give me a surface to rub on. So I'm exposing the white core of the clouds and the sailboat, and it just makes a distressed look, kind of a shadowy look. I'm going to go ahead and do it at the bottom of the boat as well in the waves, but I especially want to hit those clouds. And now you can see I have that extra shading because I've exposed the white core. Now, before we assemble our card, we're going to do a little bit of stamping. And if you have some stamps, you can pull them out to have a nice greeting. This one says congratulations. It's wonderful for a retirement card or a birthday card or best wishes or marriage or all kinds of good things in your life that we want to celebrate. But this banner, you can write anything you like on here. So I'm going to stamp congratulations, but you could use this to write a person's name or a message or a special verse that you love. And because I'm working with a photopolymer stamp set, that's that clear plastic, it's called photopolymer, I have a cushion underneath me. You can use a mouse pad or a magazine because there isn't any red rubber foam here like there is with our red rubber stamps. But the beauty of the clear photopolymer stamps is you can see right through them and line up your images really easily. So there's our congratulations. And I'll set that one aside. And then the other piece I'm going to stamp is the back of my card. You'll see here on this sample, I stamped the sailboat. And I wanted to show you, it's called two-step stamping, where you use different elements of a stamp to create, let's see if I can find the bigger one. Here it is. To make an image with more than one color. So I don't have a bigger block with me tonight. I left some things at my studio, unfortunately. But so my sailboat's going to hang over just slightly, but I didn't have trouble making it work before. I'm going to pull back that Night of Navy ink pad. And I'm going to stamp the boat image. Make sure I got it. I have inked well. That's another advantage of the clear stamp is you can look through to be sure that it's well inked. I'm going to stamp that in because it's off the block. I'm just tapping that slightly up the top of the mast. That's beautiful. Now I'm going to take the insides of the sail. So this one is you can see here it makes the stripes of the sail. So I'm going to use a color that's similar to Cloud Cover. It's actually called Seaside Spray, which is kind of a fun one to use with a sailboat set. But you'll see I'm just going to carefully position that so that it's inside the sail and it gives a cool look of two-tone. And then we can add a little bit to the wood hull of the boat or the, what is it called? I'm not sure. The boat part has different names, but I'm going to go ahead and fill this part in. The part that you would sit in when you were on the boat. There we are. So now that has some color as well. It just gives a little variety from using colored pencils or markers when you have a stamp set that allows you to fill things in. Okay, so we've done that stamping and we're going to just do a little bit of shading. I told you I would share how you can add a little bit of shading like we saw on the cloud earlier. This card, it's very subtle, but there's a little bit of blue shading here along the cloud's edge. We're going to take a sponge dauber. You can use a blending brush or a sponge, or we'll use a sponge dauber tonight. And we just dab onto the ink pad. And then I'm going to take my, my piece. This is going to go on the bottom of the card, and it does have arches that go up. I'm going to make it so that's like rainbows. You could have it so the arches are more like teardrops, but I'm positioning it so the round is at the top. And when I sponge, I don't want too much color too dark. So I'm going to start off the page and then roll onto it a little bit. Okay, now this is an older sponge dauber. It's kind of coming apart a little bit, but I just wanted to show you how easy it is to add that shading around the edges here, just to add a little bit of a vintage look to the edges of the paper instead of it being real crisp and clean. Okay, I'm going to move that aside. And then we're ready to do the assembly of our card. Now, the this I call a boxy pop-up fold card, fun fold card. And there are basically two pieces that do the hard work, right? The cardstock pieces. And that's going to make the shape around the box, the back, and then this front piece.
That's really
So
cool.
isn't it neat? I'm glad you like it. Now the score lines are pretty faint. So when you fold your feel your paper, you're going to feel where there are some creases. And there will be a total of 4 creases that we make. And you'll see it has, so the one that was folded when you opened up your envelope, and then there are 3 more creases. And what this does is make that tunnel or box shape. Okay.
Well, that was
And
really interesting. I couldn't see the folds at all until you pushed on it,
right,
and
it
then it
is
was
hard on
there.
camera to get a sense to show you, but here's the finished one. So you see you've got the main piece that wraps around, and then we've got another piece that just has 2 score lines on it. Let's see if we can find those. They're a little bit faint. I apologize. Oh, there it is. I think I did that on the wrong. Nope, I did that. Okay. All right. So I'm going to add a little more tape to it. This piece looks like I put the tape in the wrong place here, but the smaller one has 2 folds, 2 score lines. Okay. Just disregard that tape at the bottom. If your tape is not in the where the fold is, then I made a mistake and I apologize. So you could use regular glue, or if you have tear and tape, you'll want to put a strip of tape along that 1/2 inch piece at the top. Okay, so we have a box like this, and then another piece that's going to come together. Before we glue the cardstock, we want to put our designer series paper, our thinner pattern papers on top of the box. That makes it really easy to see how it folds. And you'll see we want to be sure we have it. I call this the wallpaper, kind of behind the scenes. And we want that to be in place before we secure the top. So to do that, I'm going to use my favorite multi-purpose glue, Tombow liquid glue. A little goes a long way. Dot, 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 not a lot, my friend Angela says. We're just going to wrap that, secure that down along the back. So before we do any tear and tape, we're just going to kind of see how things fit together. Okay. So I call that the wallpaper. And now on this one, we'll put the little sailboat that we distressed with the sanding block. That goes at the front here. And then this piece that we used the sponge on, we're going to put that at the front of the card like this. And it's going to fit right between those fold lines. Once we have our papers in place, it's much easier to do the construction of the card. I'll give you just a minute to take a look again how we've put the designer series paper. It's not quite square. It measures 4 by 3 3/4. My camera's kind of hard. This is light to pick this up tonight, but I can also take a picture of this and add it to the comments when we have our Facebook feed going, and in the YouTube. But this gives you the dimensions if you want to recreate this card, because it is a fun wow card. There isn't a whole lot of measuring. It's just some fun engineering, paper engineering. So because we want our box to pop our card to pop up, we have to make sure we position the cardstock piece in the right place. Now, see the finished one, how this printed piece is sort of at the top right here. That's how we want to fold our paper when we put the card together here. So the adhesive is down here. We're going to remove that strip. But when we fold it over, we have it behind the pretty paper. Okay. So when I push down, it's in just the right place here because the glue, the tape was hiding behind the pretty paper there. Okay. Now
Magic.
yes, now for the top, we're going to do a similar thing. We want to have the fold above the sailboat be right at the top of the card. So our adhesive is down here, but we're going to line up across the top of the card. So for that, now we can remove the liner and put the sailboat's mast is going to be right up at the top of the card, working to center it pretty much left and right. Don't worry, but kind of centering there. And then the last thing to do is add a little bit of glue to secure this to the pretty piece, the sailboat down to this piece here. So we take and just put a little bit of glue. You don't want it to be all around the edges because only that part of the sailboat is going to cover. So don't put too much glue there, but we're going to fold down and push it to help it adhere. And then when we open it now, we've got that boxy tunnel shape.
Wow, it did work.
Yeah, it's really fun. So the trick to do it, once you do it once, you'll know, and you can do many, many, many more. But the just take your time as you're doing it. And it, like I said, it helps to put the pieces on there first, because then you know to line up the top of the pretty paper at the top. That really, really helps. Okay. So now to finish things off, we're going to add our banner. Here's a fun congratulations one.
You're going to stamp it first and then?
Yep, I stamped already when we were getting
Yes.
started. So,
Okay.
yep. So that's going to go onto the front. And then you see I've got some gems, and aren't they beautiful? So there's different colors. I love that this coral color is in the paper, but you could use the blue or the cloud cover pool party colors. Anything goes. It's you get to choose. But I'm going to use the ones that are that little bit of pink coral to coordinate with the background paper. And that just adds a little bit of sparkle like the sun shining. And on the back, we'll put our piece of stamped piece. And this gives you a place to write your message. So now the lucky recipient of the card will enjoy seeing the, displaying this card. And yet it fits right into that envelope. My friend Nora has a rule when she makes a fun fold card, it has to fit in a regular envelope. I think that's a great rule. Okay. So before we say goodnight, I want to show you a few more of my boxy pop-up cards. This one features, oh, that one came unglued. It's been handled quite a lot, so there we are. These are two turtley cards. Hope your birthday is turtley awesome. I love these. And so again, it's that same trick of creating the boxies pop-up fold. And this is just fun paper that I've fussy cut all these different images to make that decoration. This is a lovely holiday card, Peace on Earth card, that showcases a beautiful suite that will be available in September that has this glimmer paper, the doves, and it's really lovely. Here you can see I did that same technique that I did with the boat, where I sanded the paper. I did that here to expose a little bit of this foliage that was embossed.
Mhm.
And this last one, I love this one. This says, "Thanks for being you." And it's just a really beautiful vintage card. I love the linen look of the papers. And this is called linen thread. It's just a really gentle card. So you can get so many different looks with that, that same fold. And that's one of the things I love about making cards is you can learn one or two tricks and recycle them and come up with so many different ways to share the ideas. One more quick show and tell, and that's a sneak peek at what one of the projects we'll be doing next month. I love boxes, and this is a sweet little box that opens up
Ah,
in a fun way, and you can put candy or jewelry or money or a love note or a photo inside. And then this little belly band just kind of slides on and off here. So it's an easy box to refill and regift. And if I enjoy making these. So we'll be doing that as one of our projects next month. Trying to remember what the other one I have. I'm trying to get a little bit ahead for summer. So I have the other project planned too. I can't quite remember. There'll be three projects, but one of them is this fun happy birthday box. So
nice.
I look forward to crafting with you next month here on Zoom or when you can join us live at the library. I'll be at the library tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock for our in-person class and invite you to come kit together with me. Julia, thank you so very much always for your patient help with our um, virtual gatherings and in-person gatherings. And it's always nice to see you and share time together.
Yep. I apologize for the technical difficulties tonight for the other people, but it'll all be up on Facebook and
And the
on
YouTube as well.
the YouTube channel. Okay.
Great. Great.
All right.
Thank you so much, Julia.
Yep. Okay. Good
Have a
night.
great week, everybody.